side of the American long.
My bad. Here we go. I think this is it.
So we can find out together. How's that? Let's do that. So let's see here. Minnesota governor signs broad abortion rights bill into law from the Associated Press. So they're a good source. They're not Fox. So if they were Fox, it'd be lies. But this is
Oh, Fox lies. I'm pretty sure
Governor Tim
MSNBC,
Walz enshrined the
CNN,
right to abortion and other reproductive health into
AP.
Minnesota
I'm pretty sure they all lie.
Tuesday, signing a bill meant to ensure that the state's existing protections remain in place, no matter who sits on the future courts. Democratic leaders took advantage of their new control of both houses of the legislature to rush the bill through in the first month of the 2023 legislative session. They credit the backlash against the U.S. Supreme Court decision last summer to reverse Roe v. Wade for their takeover of the state Senate and for keeping their House majority in a year when Republicans expected to make gains. That's true. They did expect to make gains, but they didn't.
Fuck, I gotta go get ready for work too. But gotta expose these
After
clowns.
last year's landmark election across this country, they were the first state to take a legislative action to put these protections in place. Walz said at a signing ceremony flanked by over 100 lawmakers, providers, and other advocates who worked to pass the bill. Abortion rights were already protected under a 1995 Minnesota Supreme Court decision known as Doe v. Gomez, which held that the state constitution protects abortion rights, and a district court judge last summer declared unconstitutional several restrictions that previous legislatures had put in place, including a 24-hour waiting period and parental notification requirement for minors. Opponents
so this is him searching
the
up
bill as extreme,
what I commented,
saying that it and other fast-track legislation will leave Minnesota with essentially no restrictions on abortion at any stage of pregnancy. Which, by the way, just so that we're clear, everybody, that there isn't a bunch of people. I don't think, in fact, there's any at all that have these late stage, like what one of my commenters.
This is him making excuses after he was exposed for being wrong by me.
I'm pretty sure.
Here's my post to Randy Mack.
Is that in Minnesota?
And now here he goes trying to make assumptions about what I said. No, I said exactly what I said and meant what I said. You fucking clown.
Which is what he's trying to say is happening, which it's not doing at all, obviously. But that's what they like to do. They like to try to lie that way to make
don't
people
you love
feel
that, the
bad.
division?
But these things aren't happening anyway, so there's really no need to be worried about it. But let's see what it is, okay? Let's see what it is. And a district court judge last summer declared unconstitutional several restrictions that previous legislatures had put in place, including a 24-hour waiting period and a parental notification requirement for minors. Opponents decried the bill as extreme, saying it and other fast-track legislations will leave Minnesota with essentially no restrictions on abortion at any stage of pregnancy. The leaders of the Senate and House GOP minorities, Senator Mark Johnson of East Grand Forks and Representative Lisa DeMuth of Cold Spring, urged Walz in a letter Monday to veto the bill, saying that the Democratic majorities rejected dozens of amendments that Republican lawmakers proposed as guardrails, including prohibitions on third trimester abortions, except to save the patient's life. But the White House welcomed Walz's signature on the bill, noting that Minnesota is the first state legislature to codify.
Now, just for reference, I proved this dude wrong by posting the actual bill and making him go and read it. And he didn't like what it said.
Voters also turned out
and now,
ballot initiatives to defend access to abortion in California, Kansas,
from being
Kentucky,
able to comment
Michigan,
by him
Montana,
because he doesn't want me exposing anything
While
else.
congressional Republicans continue their support for extreme policies, including the national
anti-fascist side turns out to be the side of fascism.
On Congress to restore the protections of Roe in federal law. Jean-Pierre said in a statement, until then, the Biden-Harris administration will continue its work to protect access to abortion and support state leaders in defending women's reproductive rights. And by the way, let me just say, this is a guy named Randy. So Randy is really interested in making sure women do what he wants them to do with their body.
Now here he goes making up lies.
But let's see.
But then he banned me from being able to comment and expose more laws that
before we get into the bill and what its restrictions or non-restrictions are. The House passed the bill 69 to 65 less than 2 weeks ago, and party discipline held firm during a 15-hour debate in the Senate that ended a 34 to 33 vote early Saturday. Fundamentally, this legislation is about who decides, said House Speaker Melissa Portman of Brooklyn Park, who should be legally entitled to make reproductive health care decisions for an individual. It can't be decided by politicians. It can't be decided by judges, which is exactly the way that I feel. So now I'm trying to see if there's something I can click on, a link that gives us what it is.
Here's where he gets the bad news and sees shit he don't want to see, and then blocks me.
So let's go back and see if there's something else that we can click on, because that article didn't tell us what the restrictions or lack there are is on this bill. All right, so let's just. I don't know why it's not. Okay, there we go.
Come on, buddy. Keep looking for sources. I know you're scrolling to the bottom of the barrel to try to find one that fits your narrative. Come on now.
Walz signed a law allowing abortion at any stage, and let's see what this is from the Washington Examiner. And defunded crisis pregnancy centers. That doesn't sound right at all.
Oh, I'll look at you saying some shit you don't want to see.
Defunded them. All right. This must be like a Republican newspaper, because this
of
sounds
course,
very,
Republican
very negative.
Newspaper, just like all your leftist news channels.
Vice President Kamala Harris' decision to select Tim Walz as her running mate solidifies the Democratic his support of unlimited abortion, a foundation of his administration, says Carol Tobias, president of National Right to Life, said in a press statement. Both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have yet to hear of an abortion they would oppose. That's not true at all. After winning a re-election for governor in 2022, Walz, the newly elected Democratic legislature in January 2023, rushed through the Protect Reproduction Options Act, which codified the fundamental right to reproductive freedom, and essentially prohibited any restrictions on abortions, including gestational age limits. Minnesota was the first state to enact abortion rights legislation following the 2022 midterm election. The first general election just keeps on jumping on me while I'm reading, so then I lose my pace. After winning the election for governor in 2022, Walz and the newly elected Democratic legislature in January 2023 rushed through the Protect Reproductive Options Act, which codified the fundamental right for reproduction freedom. I read that already. Also, early in his second term, Walz ushered in the repeal of existing law that would have required abortion patients to wait 24 hours and go through an informed consent process. After the new regulations, abortion providers also had to provide much data to the State Department of Health about each procedure, and are only required to report how the abortion was performed, the age of the woman, and the approximate gestational age of the fetus. They do not need to report the mother's life or health was at stake, nor do they need to report the pregnancy was a result of a rape or incest. So that it looks like this is a needle in a haystack that I'm looking for in terms of finding exactly what the limits were on it. But I can tell you that, Randy, I am 100% pro-choice for a woman to be able to do whatever she wants with her body.
You're 100% pro
They
dumbass.
should not at all care what you think.
Listen to how mad
They
he gets.
shouldn't care at all what you think.
I made him mad and riled him up. Look at him yell. Say it again. Say it again.
Not even
There we go.
a little tiny bit, even just out of some respect for you. They shouldn't give a flying what you think.
Oh, I did upset you and push buttons. That's why I'm still
It's not your
blocked.
body. Mind your own business.
That's why I'm still blocked, huh? Huh. Yup, still blocked. Fuck this idiot. Look at him. He's all emotional now. All emotional. Keep venting, buddy. Keep venting. You're an idiot. You just got called out and proven wrong.
Let me see.
And now you want to make excuses.
You know, MAGA keeps talking about how government is invading on our lives, yet push more and more and more control. That's right. There goes Aloha Kitty saying hello to Senor Rojo.
Yeah, this dude's a straight up idiot. He got exposed.
So let's
Next.
get back to some of these videos that we were